Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome the fuck back. Okay, so I've been hearing a lot of talk about our boy, rich homie Quan Chi, and everyone's been saying he's bad, he needs a buff, and this, that, and the third, and I feel like you guys are not giving him a good rap. Now, I know his down one is, I think, the slowest down one in the game, and it leaves you negative 10, which is insane because that means that Johnny can block it and pretty much get a full punish from it. So let's kind of talk about those things and talk about why I don't really feel like he needs a buff, and I don't feel like we're giving him enough time and enough credit. So we'll talk about Johnny in particular right now because I know that's like the elephant in the room, and then we'll kind of go over the rest of the cast because not many people have actually I don't think anyone else has a 9-frame mid like Johnny, so no one else can really punish him like Johnny can. So he's a little bit of a special case. We'll talk about him first. So when it comes to Johnny, he can kind of do things like this. Yeah, so I mean, I obviously don't know Johnny Cage combos, but you guys get the point here. Now, one thing that you can do is if you know that he's doing this, so if you know that he's kind of jailing you with that, you can wait for it, right? Because that's -5. So the knee that he has to do pretty much after that, after the elbow is -5. So if you just wait for the knee, then you're good. Then you can poke and kind of do your own thing because he's -5 right after that knee. So it's like, I mean, obviously he can continue the combo, but as you can see, both of those are negative. So regardless of what he finishes the combo with, and he can even do half the combo, right? So even if he did that, he's still -4. So he's still negative in all these instances. So really all you have to do in order to counter the Johnny thing is just kind of wait for him to do his second part of it, right? So don't try to poke him in the middle of his 2 moves because he has to do he has no other 9-frame lows that can beat you. So if I'm sorry, mids. He has no other 9-frame mids that can beat you. Like if we look at his move list, right? So we see that this is a high. It's 7 frames. This is his down 1. This is a high at 8 frames. This is a mid, but it's 19 frames, so that can't beat you. He has a 10-frame high that obviously can't beat you. And then he has his 9-frame mid. That's the one we're speaking of right now. And then he has his low or whatever. Where's his other mid? These are aerial attacks. So that's it. That's his only 9-frame mid. And once he hits you with that mid, it's pretty much your turn, right? So you can kind of take your turn back that way. So that's kind of just a little bit of one way to counter Johnny Cage when it comes to the poking game, because I see a lot of people talking about it like it's just completely impossible to block. But if you see people doing that, because he only has the one move that he can jail with that with. And I doubt that people are reacting to your down 1. They just know that you're going to try to hit them with the down 1 because you're used to trying to hit them with the down 1 after they poke you with that first one, right? So you're used to that. You're used to being able to poke them after that first one. But if you just wait, you can poke them after that. Yes, it's 9 frames, but he has nothing that is. No one has anything that's 4 frames, right? Because it would have to be 4 frames for him to beat you after this, and no one has anything that's 4 frames, so he's not beating you after this. And then, you know, when it comes to the down 1 being slow and like why is it slow and all these things, like I definitely feel like it's needed because Quan Chi has some crazy stuff that actually I think we're going to talk about right now. So one of the things that I think is pretty obvious with Quan Chi, but I don't think people are utilizing enough, is his portal. Quan Chi gets significantly better, as you all know, with his portal, but I don't think anyone is using him to his full potential. One of the things with Quan Chi, obviously, is that he's a keep away character. He's not going to be a rush down. He's not going to be in people's faces, like really kicking their ass and stuff like that. And he's not Cetrion or whoever you guys wanted him to be. Like, he's Quan Chi and he is a zoner, just like, you know, some of the other zoners, except you got to use him a little bit differently. So when it comes to this, like being able to jail between this and like your between this and your fireballs, like, this is a super important skill to have, because it does take timing in order to do this, you know. And then if they start trying to zone you back, knowing when to hit them with that and stuff like that. So this is a super important part of his kit, this kick. Like, I don't think they gave it to him, or they obviously didn't give it to him for no reason, right? They definitely want you to use it. But one thing I don't see pretty much anyone utilizing are his traps, because, I mean, once you place these down and you start doing this and doing that and all this stuff, and like, once you're using your bar to keep them away instead of trying to use your bar to get them away, then you start seeing how powerful Quan Chi is, because he is a keep away character. That only costs 1 bar, and then you're, you know, kind of zoning away, right? And then he's trying to move in, you hit him back with that, you know, you get your thing back, and then you're kind of zoning away again. Like, you're basically just keeping them away. He's not supposed to have a good down one, and honestly, it is good. Like, the range on it is ridiculous. I mean, it's not the best range in the game for a down one, but it's pretty good. And then he has his down 4, which can be special canceled. So if you were to do like down 4 into, oops, sorry, keep doing that, down 4 into that, so that's gonna pretty much jail, right? They have to block, right? So that you do it as a combo, because I think that's why they made his down 4 like that. It goes so far, and that's the one I think you're supposed to be using. And if they're getting in a little bit too close, you know, you're hitting them with that. So it's like, I think people aren't also using cameos in the way that they need to. For Quan Chi, at least, especially, his cameos aren't necessarily going to always be used for his combos. He has pretty decent, I mean, not the best, but he has decent damage on his own, and you definitely can use him for his combos. But the biggest way you want to use your cameos for Quan Chi is by getting him out of harm's way. You know, I think that's why some of the people that work best with Quan Chi are the people that have like a down, basically people that have a down cameo that comes out and does a hit or a punch, or it makes the opponent kind of think and is a mid, right? Because that's kind of what Quan Chi is missing. And I think that's why Jax complements him so well, is because he's missing a few, like, he's missing his mids when it comes to like pressure, because he's not an up close pressure monster, right? That's not what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a keep away zoner. And one of the things that kind of proves that is his only mid in the game. If we take the block off and we look at his only mid in the game, if we look at his only mid, look at how far that travels, right? Most other people's mids usually are pop-ups and they're gonna combo into things and stuff like that. His mid just knocks people far as hell away, so he can get back to stuff like that, right? So he can get back to doing what he wants to do with that. That's the only move really that comes in for him. But even that, I think, is like if you're getting outzoned, which is rare, but it can happen. So if you're getting outzoned and you need to like Hail Mary this, then you can, type of thing. So again, if we look at Quan Chi, I mean, even looking at his normals, right? We look at Quan Chi's normals. He doesn't have a single normal that's not negative. He is always negative. He is always giving up his turn up close. But let's take a look at his zone. He's plus 17. Okay? So on block, this move is plus 17. That means he is jailed for that kick. He has to take that kick. So if you hit them with this, he has to take that kick, right? So it's showing you right there that everything Quan Chi wants to do is going to be from afar. So, you know, he gets this out. He does his little zoning thing. Even that, I believe, yeah, even that is plus. So even this, which is, you know, going to be one of your closer ones, is going to be plus. So he's going to want to be doing these things and kind of going into that and reestablishing his kick here. And the kick is really good to establish, or like strong to establish, because it makes you a presence basically from full screen, right? So it makes it to where they can't really be comfortable just kind of moving in on you whenever they want. They have to hit that block button full screen. They have to be worried about you at all times and stuff like that. So and it also, I mean, it doesn't combo into the skull, as you can see, but it's a good, like, I guess, kind of a mix-up. So you can go like highs and mids and stuff like that, and usually, well, that combos. But you can go highs and mids and stuff like that, and usually people won't catch you. See that combos. All right, now when it comes to most other characters, they do not have a 9-frame mid, right? They have a 12-frame mid. So when they're doing strings and stuff like that, more often than not, you can poke them. You can poke them and not worry about a punish. However, most people have a poke that's much faster than yours. So if they leave you in neutral at all and they start going for the poke, for instance, so if Katana were to do one of her simple strings and then a down one, right? So this string, as you can see, leaves you in neutral and then she does a down one. So let's try to down one after her. As you can see, she counters us every time. It does not matter, she will counter us. However, oh, what is that? What is that? If you guys have seen my other videos, you would know that in order to, there are many ways to get out of a poke, right? There are many ways to get out of a poke situation. And Quan Chi just so happens to have a very long down 4 poke. And this down 4 poke can be, oh, as I mentioned earlier, special canceled, right? So obviously my cameo that I have with him right now can't poke into a launcher, because he doesn't have a launcher. However, if your cameo did have a launcher, you could poke into the launcher and then she's launched and you're getting a free counter poke for a full combo, right? So he's not at all bad, and he doesn't need to always use his down one. Yes, it looks like and seems like, oh my god, I'm gonna always lose, I'm gonna always get countered, I can't do anything. And I don't know why y'all are acting like this is your first time playing Mortal Kombat. But there's always going to be a way, people. There will always be a way. Okay, so as you can see, his down 4 super fast. I mean, not super fast, but just fast enough for a punish, especially when you get people poking, right? So people shouldn't necessarily be just winning, auto-winning the poke game against you. There's really no reason for that. And then again, if you were to get your down one out, like if she weren't going crazy with the pokes, you know, and you did end up getting your down one out before her, she can't like just punish. She can't just punish you. She doesn't have a 9-frame mid to punish you with like Johnny does. And even in the case with Johnny, as I said, I mean, he can do this too, right? He can just normal poke you and then just kind of play that mind game. But he doesn't have to, because he can punish you and stuff like that. So it is a little bit of a mind game that you have to play with Johnny. But if you see him doing his little knee, it's -5. It's your turn after that. There's no reason why you should be continuing to let Johnny abuse y'all. I don't know why y'all letting Johnny abuse you. Like, y'all hear Johnny top tier and just think he just cannot be beat. Everybody's picking Johnny online. Nobody wants to face him. Like, he just cannot be beat. And it's just not the case. Now I know what you're thinking, but what do I do if I'm in the corner, Tay? Well, that's why they gave him this. Like, that's literally the whole reason for that move. I don't think there's any much other reason for that move. When I was recording, I was like, what is the reason for that move? I didn't see like why they would give it to him, but as I played, I understood that if he gets put in a corner, he can't do his little backdash, and there's not a lot he can do, so he kind of has to do this and like move them away. And it's one of, if not the only move in a game that can literally move people away from him, to give him like a little space to kind of start doing his thing and be able to backdash and, you know what I mean, start doing all the things that I mentioned earlier. So this move is actually extremely important, and it was really smart of them to put it in. I was at first like skeptical about it, because I was like, what is the point of this? But once you use it and know how it's supposed to be used when you're in a corner, it's actually extremely good. So and does Quan Chi need a buff? Personally, yes. I feel like he needs this. Oops, sorry. This shit needs 1 bar. This is the only buff I think personally that Quan Chi needs. There's no reason why this shit costs 2 bars. Yes, it does reset yes, it does bounce high, but it doesn't reset the gravity. So it's like, even if it does end up bouncing them high, once you hit them after your combo, it doesn't, once you hit them after your initial combo, it doesn't matter how much this thing bounces them back up, because they're not gonna like bounce up again, and all of your combos pretty much bounce them. Quan Chi doesn't have a whole lot of like strings that go for a long time, or moves that that don't bounce. So anytime you're doing a combo with him, if you go into this, you're pretty much having to, you're pretty much having to go into this unless you don't want to continue your combo. Like, if you go into the other move, you're not continuing your combo with anything. Like, you're not continuing your combo with anything except that. That's it. And that's an ender. So it's like, if you want to continue with this, you're going to have to bounce, and as soon as you bounce them, because it doesn't reset the gravity, they go like down here to the floor, and you can't really combo off of it. I'm gonna show you guys what I think is his bread and butter combo with Jax, and I'm gonna show you that even if you do add the 2 bars and put in all the extra shit with it, it still doesn't extend the combo that much because of the fact that it doesn't affect the gravity at all. Right, so we got 30%. Okay, so, and let's say, and I only ended it with that move because that's kind of our baseline, right? That's the move that we're using to extend it. I could obviously end it other ways. Oops. I could obviously end it other ways, but gosh damn it. But I want to give us a good baseline. Whenever you're doing some scientific method, you gotta have a baseline. Oh. Do you see how low it hits her? And then you can maybe go for like your mid. What was the mid again? Oh yeah, sorry, I hardly used the mid. You can maybe go for like your mid, or do like the airdrop or whatever you want to do, but it doesn't extend the combo enough, in my opinion, to warrant 2 bars. How in the hell? Right? So 35%. 2 bars for 5%? Was it even 5%? I think it was like 4% or something like that. It's 2 bars? Does that seem worth it? I don't know. It seems a little bit steep. This is the only thing that I would change about Quan Chi. Other than that, I do not feel like he needs any buffs or any changes, really. I think he's exactly pretty much the way they wanted him to be. There might be some like minor tweaks that he may need here and there just to kind of, you know, shake up the meta or make him a little bit higher tier. But I think he's really good with his game plan and what he wants to do. I think people wanted him to be like, kind of like he was before. He was a little bit of a mixture, right? He had a mixture of rush down and zoning, and so he could kind of do both. And he was, as I said before, more of a Cetrion in that nature. Obviously, he doesn't play like Cetrion. Every time I compare someone to somebody, they're like, he doesn't have the exact same moves. He's not the same, and it annoys the shit out of me. Anyways, obviously, he's not exactly like Cetrion. I mean, his playstyle in that you can do both was that of Cetrion. It is not that anymore. He is a keep away zoner. He wants to stay out here, do this and do these things, and as soon as you come in a little bit close, he's gonna 50-50 you, or well, I mean, not even 50-50, but he's gonna hit you with some mix-ups and stuff like that and try to get you in the air and get your ass back away from him so he can go back to doing his zoner thing, right? And keep, like, most of his moves, as you can see, are zoned for keep away. You put her ass back in a cage and you back away from her. You put her ass in a cage and you know, maybe do a combo that knocks her away or something like that, and you go right back into your zoning. So at the end of the day, does Quan Chi need a buff or buffs? Yes, in my opinion, but only this one. Only this needs to be 1 bar. There's no reason why it's 2 bars. Absolutely none. Obviously, in my opinion, there may be something that comes up later that we realize that they knew that we didn't, which is why this is 2 bars, but I just don't see it. Like, I don't see anything making this worth 2 bars. It does always bounce high. That is one thing, but it doesn't reset the gravity. So as you've seen before, there isn't much else you can do besides whatever your air combo is. And considering that the move belongs to Quan Chi, he only has one air combo. You can't do, I mean, I guess you kind of can do air combos with the cameos, but that's just going to reset the lower the gravity even more. So you won't be able to do that much, right? But other than that, like, I don't think he needs a down one that's super good. It would be fucking impossible to get in with this man if he had a down one that was good, because of all of the tools that he has already and how good his down 4 is. The range on that is ridiculous, and it's just enough for him to backdash and punish, right? And on top of that, he's a keep away, so he has, you know, all his other moves to make sure that you're staying away from him. Most of his like combo strings kind of knock people away from him and shit like that. So it's like, I don't feel like he needs a good down one, and I honestly feel like he would be extremely overpowered. He would probably be S tier, S plus tier if he had a good down one, because there would be absolutely no way to get in to him. And once people really pick him up and really start discovering him, and I hope like Sonic Fox makes a video on it or something, because it seems like people only take his word as gospel. So maybe he'll make a video on it and kind of explain how to really use Quan Chi. But that's just my humble opinion on the matter, of course. If you have any thoughts, leave them down below. If you like, leave a like, subscribe, do all the things. This has been Yate Gaming. We will see you in the next one. Other than that, stay safe. Be blessed, and I'm out.
I have no idea where I'm going from here. This life has caused some fear. I'm getting out of here. Space cool, what?